It's break time. Welcome to our third episode. It's your co-host, Rissy Ray,
Hey, hey.
and yours truly, Kaninja. We have a very special guest here in our break room to join us in today's topic. He is a knowledgeable, creative, and trustworthy broker at Keller Williams with 15 years of experience covering North and South Carolina. He helps many families and individuals with their home, including myself. He has helped me tremendously with building my first home. We are very interested to hear your advice and experience with selling and buying homes. Mr. Mark Zarcone, would you like to introduce yourself?
You've done a great job so far, Kaninja. It's hard to beat that. The goal really is the goal really is to do what I can to spread the great word of real estate and to be encouraging and knowledgeable, and hopefully everybody definitely looks to do so in the future if they haven't yet.
Awesome. Well, again, so happy that you're able to make it on here. We have a lot of questions about home ownership. Rissy here, she's really wanting to try to find a home at one point. Like I said earlier in the introduction, you helped me tremendously in finding my home. I guess, Rissy, do you have any questions you want to start out with before I start going?
No worries. So right now, okay, we're in a pandemic, and in the midst of all this, life still keeps, like life is still going. People are still getting new jobs, giving birth, all that good stuff. So on the news, I would hear, like, throughout this whole since March, I would hear, this is a great time to buy, this is a great time to sell. And I'm over here like, so what's up? Like, do I need to wait? Is this the time to wait? And so that's why I really was interested in this topic, because life still goes on. People still have milestones that they would like to achieve. And I'm like, home ownership. So what do we need to do? So I am a current renter. And is this a good time for me to really start looking, prepping, or do I need to just stay where I am right now?
Well, right now, for buyers, our rates are low right now as far as mortgage is concerned. The lowest they've had in many, many years. They're down to 2.71 right now. So as far as a mortgage is concerned, they are a very enticing piece of the pie for buyers to enjoy and do that. So the things to look at as far as if you're ready to buy yourself, basically it's your credit score, your income is a big piece right there. So looking at those items, you need to be thing called pre-approved. Pre-approved is actually going to a lender and finding out with your situation what is the best lending package you could get into at this time. And then you know the best is best for you to buy at this point. What's happening now in the market right now, they call it a seller's market right now. What that means is that there's a lower supply of homes and a big demand for homes right now. There are a lot of buyers out there right now looking for homes, and the supply is low. Due to COVID, people aren't putting houses on the market as they had in the past. They're more apt to say, just refinance our mortgage right now because the rates are low. It's the same rate and they want to refinance. Or they're saying, we're quarantining right now and we're home. So let's put some more effort into our home for home improvement. So instead of selling it, they're more apt to improve their home, put in new kitchens, put in new roofs, whatever it may be. So people aren't out there right now selling unless they have to. They have to sell one way or another. Of course, there's a high demand for homes because there's such a long demand for the rates are so low right now. Prices are kind of higher right now of homes, higher than it had in the past. So what I would do is just find out where you're sitting right now as far as your approval is concerned. If you can buy a home right now, and then just to talk to a realtor and see what's out there in the market. The thing is basically is prepare yourself that you may have to go through, maybe if you love a home, maybe multiple offers for that home. And hopefully we get it and you at that point, or you may not get it, depending on situations with an offer, you might say. So I would find out where you are right now, get pre-approved by a lender and see where you are right now. If you have to work on something, they'll tell you what to work on.
Mm-hmm.
So that really is my first suggestion to you to get that done right off the bat to find out where you
So when you get
Awesome.
pre-approved, is that something like you go to a, like you said, a mortgage lender? Like, would a bank do? Would, I guess, when you get pre-approved, what do you do to get pre-approved? Is it calling, like, do you just look up Google mortgage lenders, or is that something that the realtor could help you out with? I know that's what you helped me out with when I was first starting, but is that across the board, or, could anyone
are.
just set that up beforehand?
Well, you can get pre-approved by all those you mentioned. The bank,
Okay.
you can go on Rocket Mortgage and get pre-approved. I recommend going to a realtor like myself, because we have lenders that we have that work with us. And we could recommend lenders that have been proven to be very, very successful for our clients. And they're that way. So definitely establish a realtor you can to guide you to a lending officer that could talk to you on the phone. It could be a 15-20 minute conversation about your income, your credit situation. They can let you know where you are right now. And what they can do for you is say you're pre-approved if you get that point for to a certain amount. And that certain amount is the maximum they'll approve you for. Does it mean you'll go for that maximum amount? So you're approved for 200,000. You don't have to get 200,000. You can get 150 if you want.
Oh,
It's just less money that way. Don't feel you're impelled to do it that way. Many people feel that way. I'm approved for 200,000. Go for the max. Make sure you can afford that. The higher the mortgage, the more you pay.
But isn't that what the pre-approval shows, like, what you can afford? So if, like,
Yes.
if they say at 200,000, does that mean that they say that you can afford 200,000? But like you said, like, it may be the max you can afford.
Right. That's the max. When they say pre-approved, that's telling you the max they can give you for that home.
okay.
And then they'll let you know how much it is. And you could look at your expenses for your monthly expenses, monthly income, and say, can I afford that? Realistically, can I afford
Okay. So that's what the max they can approve you, but you still have to be like, okay, yeah, my mortgage may be this amount after everything is said and done. But hey, I got my Netflix, I got my Hulu, I got my Disney Plus. What else do I have for all my subscriptions?
Crunchyroll.
Crunchyroll.
you got your needs. You have your
Right.
needs. Exactly. Yeah. That's part of your monthly expenses. You got to make sure that you make your needs along with your four walls and your roof, right? You got to make sure it works out.
Okay, so I guess I was trying to figure out, like, when it comes to, like, what are they able when you're going through this pre-qualification process. I mean, what information do they need? Like, are they going deep into the crevices of my life to figure out these things, or like how does that work? Am I supplying all my bank statements?
Well, that will come later on. But the
Okay.
pre-approval really is an over the phone review of your credit. That's for your social security number. They ask for your social security number,
Hmm.
run your credit, and also they're going to ask for your income, how much you make, how long you've been working at that job. As far as that's concerned. So those are the two things they're going to buy. They call it pre-approval. Once you
Mm.
get into the transaction, and if you're truthful of what you got and you haven't changed much, they're going to ask for documentation. They'll ask for your check stubs for the past, say, for 2 months. They may ask for your income tax returns for the past 2 years. So they may ask for a few things, actual, proving you are working at where you are and your income is what it is.
Oh, okay.
So
So I heard that once you get that, do not open up new credit card. Don't try to I don't do anything specific or huge. Like, don't try to get a new car, all that stuff. Is that when you get pre-approved? Like, be sure not to really do anything that will affect your credit, your, I guess, ability to get a home, or is that come later in the process as well?
well, it becomes more important after you sign a contract with a house. Beforehand, when you get pre-approved, the lender's going to tell you what to do. Can you buy a house? Can you buy a car? what you have to work on, what to watch for. So she'll tell you that up front. But when
Okay.
you finally find your home and you sign a contract for your home, there's 6 weeks from that contract being signed to closing. And you've been pre-approved by the bank on the basis of your status, of your income, and your credit at that time. When you start doing changes which are impactful to your credit, such as open up a new account, a closed account, or a large purchase, those affect your credit and might be negatively at that point. And what happens is that the underwriters, there are people behind the scenes checking your credit periodically throughout the 6 weeks. They're looking at your credit throughout, and they may say, uh-oh, Rissy Ray's buying a new couch for her new place, or she's booked a refrigerator and a washer dryer a week before closing. That affects her credit tremendously because that will raise up your balance on your credit card and hurt your credit because the high balances are not a good reflection on your credit. You want to keep like 40% of your credit, of your amount you could buy on your credit card as being your balance. Say, for instance, if you have $1,000 credit card, $400 is a safe amount to maintain for good credit. If you're maxing, it's a negative effect.
So I guess kind of going back to Rissy's question a little bit, I guess during this time, I guess it is a buyer's market. Oh, it's a seller's market, is what you said.
Yeah.
Sellers. Okay.
So it's a seller's market. So that means there's a lot of people who are buying. The interest rates are low. And Rissy, just to let you know, the interest rates are a lot lower than when I built my home. So I was really thinking about refinancing as well. But I really need to get on the ball with that one. But so since interest rates are so low, but because it's a seller's market, the cost of the houses are higher. Does that kind of cancel out the benefit of low interest rates because the cost of the house is higher?
I wouldn't say so. I would say it gives her the ability now to find what meets her needs at this time because her rates are so low as far as her mortgage is concerned. So I would definitely get into the market and look what's going on out there now. You prepare yourself. There might be multiple offers out there, but also what you have too is not only existing homes. You can look into new construction. And right now they're building a lot out there. So you have not only new homes being resold, you have new construction you could look at also. So you have some options there also.
What I find was so interesting is that with the interest rates being so low, is that potentially current homeowners and people like myself looking can benefit. That's something I did not know. So for all you current homeowners out there, the interest rates being so low, that works for you too. That is something that I did not know. It was just for us newbies coming out here trying to get a home. So that was very interesting.
We have a chance.
We have a chance. Absolutely. Now with the new construction, because for me, I'm trying to get my mortgage to this magical number that doesn't exist. I want it to be like $200 a month. I know that's not possible with all the trimmings, but I did see like I guess with me, I am trying to have my mortgage equal out to my current rent.
And that's something you have to look at. Again, I don't know. Is it $200 a month? I don't know.
Oh no, it's not. It's not.
I don't know if that's what it is. I don't know where you're living right now, but
I want to know if it's $200.
That's a pretty good deal right now. I don't know what it is.
Sign me up.
You know, but I won't put any promises there on that at all.
So, Mark, kind of on that note, though, what is your advice or what are your experience or thoughts on renting to own? So, like, if Rissy has this magical number or this ideal rent of $200 a month, which again, if there is any place, please sign me up. If she does have $200 a month, but she wants to stay where she's at, is there a possibility to do rent to own, and how does that work?
Well, rent to own is an agreement between directly the buyer and and the seller. And what's happening there is that you're saying that I want your home, but at this time I can't buy it outright.
Mhm.
But I want to be in your home, and I want my payments to go toward my down payment toward your home. Say, for instance, the home you have a goal for is $200,000, and say, for instance, I agree that I want to, in 1 year, I will buy this home outright. But from now, the next 12 months, I want to be in your home and pay you for being in your home. And that money will go towards, say, the down payment of it. Okay. Well, now you don't own this home yet. Still, the seller owns the home still. You're kind of renting, but in a way, the money you're putting down is to own this house, to own this house. That's the goal of it, saying, I'm going to give you money now toward a down payment to live in this home, and I will buy this home in a year. Until my credit's better or my income gets better, and that's the idea of the home.
Now, is that
Now,
popular?
it's not as popular as you think it is. The reason why is because during that course of a year, things happen. Say, for instance, you change your mind, or in a year you don't get where you want to be for some reason, say that credit score or that income level isn't there where you want to be,
Mhm.
and the seller can negate it and say, well, I'm going to keep this money because this is the money that I would have had if I sold to somebody else. I took it off the market for you. So this money, if you can't afford finally to buy this home, it'll be just rent money almost like to you, and he'll keep that money. So
Oh.
you'd have to really know your goal, and make that payment, and know within that time frame that you put down that contract that you will buy this home within 1 year, or usually it's a year. It could be more, but usually it's a year. Does
Okay,
it help?
so yes, it is very helpful. So when if I wanted to do a rent to own option or lease to own option,
Mhm.
is it best for me to go through a realtor to do that, or is
Well,
that something too?
I don't handle that myself directly. There are services that do that. You can Google them online, rent to own, so that you can do that on there and see how that's set up, and see how you like it, basically, as far as that's concerned. But again, it's hoping that with a period of time you're ready, because if you're
Okay.
not ready at that during that time, there'll be consequences in that contract that might not be positive for you. You know what I'm saying?
So it's
Mhm.
Uh,
risky.
risky for that point. And you wanted to buy it, you can't buy it then. I personally would wait until you're ready to buy a home outright. I
Okay.
personally would say, okay, I want to buy a home. I got the credit. Right now, you have rent going on. So right now, you're used to paying a monthly payment for your home,
Mhm. Mhm.
for living somewhere, and that's a good start. You already have that practice going on right now, and you're paying for your water bill. You're paying for your electric. So you're really in that almost totally home buying kind of process, because you're doing things monthly for your living. And so if you know your number, what it is or what you can live with at that point, I would see how it applies to buying a home at this time. You can.
So that kind of rolls into one of the questions that I had was who would benefit more, or I guess what is best from going from either you're having an apartment or living at your parents' place to buying a home? And that kind of looks like you already answered that question, Mark, by saying it's probably more beneficial for someone from going from an apartment to buying a home than it is from going to your parents' place to buying a home.
Well, the thing is that the person already renting right now already has the practice of monthly payments for living where they are. I don't know if living home you have any rent there at all. Most people don't have that.
Mhm.
Maybe the only advantage they have living home is that they could save money more, and if they do or not, for a down payment, for instance. And it can work where they have a good job. I don't know if you're living home, you usually don't have a good job. Usually you have your own place. You can have that. But I've seen more evolution from a rental situation to a house, and then with your parents and living and buying a home. Nothing can't be done, but that has been the more natural evolution from renting to buying your home.
So Rissy, it's looking good for you right now. I'm just saying.
I want this. I want this. Well, because I'm thinking I live on the second floor, okay? And because I'm on the second floor, I'm getting groceries, gonna go up the stairs, and then my neighbors up top, they work third shift. I'm over it. I mean, I've only been here for a little while, but I'm over it now. And and so I'm like, okay, so where do I go from here? Where because I saw different programs and things like that, and I recently moved out of my parents' home. So one of the things that some of the programs, just speaking in general, is that I have to have whatever my magic number is. It needs to be there in the bank every month. And so luckily fortunately for me, I was able to find my present home where I have a set amount and I pay it every month. So it gets paid every month. I've been on time. So whoop,
Yay.
whoop. And that's like one of my first bills that I pay. And so I guess I was trying to figure out like where do I go from here? Where at first I was told, hey, I don't really have that present rental history. To now I'm building rental history.
Right, right. You're creating that. How long have you been where you are right now?
Since August of this year.
All right. So about 4 months. About 4 months you've been there. Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, so really the first thing is to talk to a lender to find out your situation and lay out a plan. Okay, after 12 months, say for instance, of good rent payment, you're ready to buy a home. So one of the exciting things though by doing that is that you have a goal. There is a date. There is an end. That's a wonder or a when do I or a wish. You have a finite timeline and a goal to reach. And you know what to do. And that I think is comforting. I
Mhm.
would think.
Mhm.
And one thing I like to say is that, like, when I started, or before I got my home, I lived at my parents' place. So I really didn't know what my budget was. And I was just like, I don't know. And Mark here, my realtor, at the time, he was just like, well, get pre-approved. So I talked to a lender and they were helping me through it. But it was all so much for me because, again, I didn't pay bills. I didn't pay like rent, or I really didn't pay groceries or anything. I just paid for like my own car bill at home. So it
Mhm.
was a little bit harder to go from a parent's place to go to a home. But I also found out that you can typically find what price is good for you depending on how much you get for your first paycheck of a month. And I always was told that if your mortgage is the same or less than one of your paychecks, then you should be fine. Mark, is that accurate?
I think it's on the ballpark where you are. Now I want to mention something that there are costs that can be surprising for first time buyer that they don't realize. And you have a mortgage payment, but also you have real estate taxes. You also have homeowners insurance you may have an HOA payment you got to make on that house also on a monthly basis. If you're in a development, you have an HOA association. So you need to make sure that all the expenses that monthly payment will be are included, not just the mortgage, but also the homeowners insurance, the real estate taxes. And if you have an HOA, that's part of it too on a monthly or a quarterly basis. So make sure you have the full picture of what your payment's going to be. You're going to avoid any surprises right up front. And so that basically is what you want to have ahead of time. Ask the question: are those all that only the only monthly payment I'm going to make? Is there more I got to make? So make sure you get the full picture, not get any surprises at closing time. You don't want that.
Yeah, definitely, because that could be very overwhelming for a first home buyer, is if they're not aware of all the extra items that come with it, especially if you're going to live in a neighborhood with an HOA, like you said, the homeowner's insurance. Again, you helped me out a lot with that. So that was very overwhelming at first. So it is good to really keep all of that in mind. You really don't want to max out for your first paycheck or anything along those lines.
You don't want to have lawn chairs and rugs to sleep on.
Yes.
You want the amount of, people buy houses and say, I'll have the house, but I don't have any money to buy furniture. I don't have any money to buy anything else.
We're sleeping on the floor.
The floor. People buy lawn. Honestly, people have bought lawn chairs and fold up tables as being their dining room sets. And I don't think you want to be there. I don't think you want to do that. That's tough to do.
Yeah, it's cold too, depending on what time of the year you do that on.
Exactly. Well, you're inside, and hopefully you're paying for the heat, but it's, you wanna enjoy your home best you can at that point.
All right. Well, we're about to go on to a break soon. Rissy, do you have any thoughts on this conversation?
No, I'm taking valuable notes, though. This is awesome.
Awesome. So, Mark, we're going to go on a little bit of a break. So if you have any coffee or tea, or if you want to get a snack at this time, we can definitely do that. And then we'll come back.
Sounds great. I appreciate it.
And we're back. So we just came back from break time. I'm just going to let you guys know that I just had a piece of my mom's pepperoni bread. She just gave it to me this morning. I couldn't resist, and I had a huge piece. And
you said pepperoni bread?
Yeah. So she makes this for every holiday, and it's got pepperoni, cheese, oregano, all that good stuff. And I just had a big piece.
Are you going to share or what? Is it going to be more
not
me and Rissy are sitting here salivating over your experience? So I don't know if you're going to share anything.
I'm not going to share this one. Maybe next time. This is mine. I had to basically wrestle it out of her arms by saying, "But you give it to everybody else. What about me?"
So that sounds delicious.
Yeah, I feel like I earned that.
Yeah.
Please take a picture.
All right, I'll take a picture and I'll send it to everybody. What about you guys? Did you guys do anything on your break?
So I did the tea because I'm starting a detox, so it's like a liver detox.
Oh.
So I did that with some honey, and because Black Friday, somebody bought an air fryer.
Hey.
I was like, let me just throw a piece of sausage in there and see if I can make it in time. I have my piece of sausage with my tea.
With your detox tea.
With my detox tea. You got to go with the cravings, you know?
Hey, you got to equal it out somehow. Well, Mark, did you do anything?
Well, I had a late lunch. I went back home, and I know I had a corned beef in my deli tray. And I made a nice corned beef Swiss cheese sandwich, put it in the microwave for 25 seconds, a little mustard. It's gone. So it was definitely well worth it.
So are you going to share that? Or is that like me, if I keep it?
It's not here anymore.
Got none to share.
Not here for me to share. I would if it was still here, but it's not here anymore. So there's no chance.
Well, you're a lot nicer than I am. I'll tell you that. Yeah. All right, awesome. So kind of coming back, I guess, Rissy, you had a question when we came back. Did you want to ask it?
Absolutely. My question is, what are the benefits, or should I get between a new construction home and existing home? I've talked to different homeowners, and it's kind of mixed, and that's kind of where I am right now. I'm like, should I look at an existing home in an existing neighborhood that's established, or with all these different pop-ups, there's pretty much a new home division everywhere you go now. It can be in the middle of flipping nowhere, and then there's boom, townhouses. So I'm just trying to figure out, like, hey, new construction versus existing home.
Okay, well, I look at two things when I have that conflict between new homes and an existing home. It's maintenance and investment. As an example, investment, for instance, an existing home, you see on paper how much it appreciates, because you knew what it was bought for many years ago and what it was sold for. So you see appreciation there. And that's an investment. It doesn't guarantee that's going to go up in the future, but it's pretty much a good bet that where it is and the type of home it is, that it may appreciate more going forward, right? Where a new home, you don't know that. It's brand new. There's no history on that home as far as when it was bought for and sold for. It's the same thing, and you don't know how it's going to appreciate. So there's a little gamble with that, and you have a better deal with an existing home than a new home, with investment. But there's maintenance. Now, with an existing home, there's going to be maintenance right off the bat. You're going to know that you may have to replace a few things. It may be in the kitchen, it may be AC, it may be flooring. There is going to be work to be done to an existing home. And if you're looking forward to your weekend home improvement projects, then that's a great bet there too. But there will be probably on more often maintenance with an existing home than it is with a new home. I believe new homes, I think Kaninja can confirm that, is that for the first year, the builder covers everything. Anything wrong with the home, they usually cover it.
Yeah,
And it decreases as time goes on. But you have to weigh out your priorities about, walking into a new home and minimal maintenance. But then you might have the question about appreciation or an existing home, and you might have some maintenance there, but definitely you'll have a good chance of appreciation. What I would do, definitely get an inspection. Inspections give you the best snapshot of the house's condition.
Mm-hmm.
And then you know what you're up against if you have buying an existing home for the future as far as work is concerned. So that may be a good deciding factor. Are you a handy person?
Not at all.
Not that much. Not at all. So maybe new construction might be a thing for you. And a good idea for the area about appreciation. I think it's not as on paper as an existing home is, but you can do comparative market analysis for the area and get an idea what the prices are there.
What if you're in a rush to get a new home? I would think that you would want to go into an existing home because building a home takes a while to get there. Okay.
So if it's to be built, it will take about a good 6 to 9 months, even more than that sometimes. You may already buy a home already built, a new home already built. It might have been a deal that fell through.
Okay.
That's already built already, and you have it there. It may be a model home that they're selling. It's already built.
Okay.
So you can have that option too, or look for that.
Okay. So it's kind of like you can kind of get in that sweet spot that if you want a new home, but you're kind of in a rush to get into a new home, you may be able to find those homes that were built, the deal fell through, or a model home, or whatever the case.
Right. Look for those, ask those questions, and see what they come up to be. They want to sell you a home, so either it's already done or not, they'll find it for you.
Okay, because I guess that's with me and my personal timeline. With just from our conversation, I kind of already know things I do need to work on, changes that I would need to make. So my goal is 2 years, like two or 3 years. So for someone like me, I'm currently renting 2 to 3 years. I know I would like a home within that time frame. New construction, existing, it kind of doesn't matter as long as it hits what I want because I'm looking so far out. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. But before anything, I'll get pre-approved. I think that's the first way you should go first to find out where is Rissy Ray now as far as buying a home. Does she know where she is? Can she buy a home now? Or she have to work on something? She work on her credit. We're going to work on her income. The numbers, do they match her numbers now? So that's the first step, and from there you can grow with more of a timeline.
Okay, so just so I can better understand, I already know what I need. My credit needs to improve because I like to buy things. Unfortunately, as I mentioned earlier about my air fryer, I had no business getting one.
Welcome to the club.
but someone said air fryer, and then they added Black Friday, and I'm like, it's a deal automatically. Like
$49 for an air fryer is amazing.
yeah, see, you see who my shopping body is, right? Like, let's get it. And so I know, my credit score because I have high balances on my credit cards. And income, I would like to have a little bit more wiggle room, if that makes sense, in reference to my income. I can't afford where I currently live. It's not an issue. It's not a struggle. But I would like, to improve on my income just for just wiggle room. So when it comes down to the income aspect, ideally, how long should I be at this particular job before I go to my pre-qualification? When it comes down to my income and how long I've been working, do I need to? Is it better for me to wait a month, 6 months, a year, or as soon as I get my offer letter, just swing it in there and say, "Hey, I have my offer letter. I start next week." Like, what would be a good kind of ground of, okay, I've been at this job for X amount of time. Let me start the process.
Well, usually you have to be in about a year because self-employed is going to be 2 years.
Okay.
So depending upon where you are, I look for at least over 12 months being at the same place.
That's stability.
That's exactly, and you're having that constant regular paycheck of what it is coming in regular. So 1 year at the same job would be what they're looking for. Okay, if you're looking for something. Right now, FHA loans, you can get a loan for if you're a 580 score. I don't know your score right now, what your credit score is. 580, you can get a loan for FHA loans for homes for that score. The conventional loans are 620, a little higher.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know your score, but I don't know if you know what it is. But I really, a year at the same job and a credit score of what we could have mentioned just now. The higher the score, the better opportunity there is probably for a lesser down payment or a better rate.
Mm-hmm.
FHA only requires 3.5% down as a down payment for a home. Now, again, I don't know where you are right now. That's why I'm saying get pre-approved so you know where you are,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can work from there.
Okay.
So if Rissy gets pre-approved, is that when she contacts a realtor, or does she contact a realtor first and then get pre-approved?
Well, a realtor first, and then she can get a realtor can guide her toward a lender that can pre-approve her.
Okay.
And a relationship between the lender and the realtor is important.
You get a better deal?
Well, basically, it's called communication. One of the keys of having a realtor is that he communicates with all the parties and with their client, maybe the buyer or seller, as far as that's concerned. If there's any issues or concerns, the realtor will know and tell the buyer what's going on, or the lender to work things out. So communication between all the facets, the attorney, finance people, the inspector, the appraiser, is all done with the realtor to his client. So the realtor should be like your general contractor, you might say, of the transaction.
Oh, okay. So we already know I'm going to call you anyway. So you can start.
Sounds good to me. Kaninja knows my number, so we're set.
Because I love Kaninja's house. I want it copy and paste the same exact thing.
Okay.
Same exact thing. Not down to the color. Like just
down to the color.
I want everything. So knowing that she had an amazing deal with an amazing realtor, that's what I want. Same thing.
Right. No, I recommend highly that way because the realtor is really guiding you. I mean, he does this for a living. He's licensed. His goal is to satisfy your needs as far as real estate is concerned. That's his main goal, is to get you where you want to be. And he knows all the contracts. He knows how to fill them out, when to fill them out, the addendums, the communication, how to work with inspectors. I mean, he really is your sidekick when it comes down to buying a home and having a successful transaction. It's one of the biggest buys of your life, your home.
Right.
And you want to make sure that you have somebody by your side that is for you and thinks about you and gives you full disclosure of what's going on. So you can make great, honest decisions on what to
Right.
do.
Right. Yes, I feel so empowered right now, Kaninja.
Awesome.
You know, well, I know I feel so good. I'm super empowered. I'm in the 500s. I'm not Shane. I know that some people are like, don't ask about my credit score. I'm in the 500s because I lived life in my 20s, and
Mhm.
I'm
Got that
still
air
living life.
fryer.
I got that air fryer.
How's that sausage going?
Oh, that thing was beautiful and amazing. And you know, my little one was like, "Hey, mom, you know, don't eat in front of while you're working." I'm like, "No, leave me alone. Let me enjoy this. Leave me alone." So I
What you
know what I did.
what'd you make with the air fryer? Did you make anything like fried chicken, or did you make any type of baked goods? What'd you make?
So I put a piece of sausage in there, let it cook in there
Oh
for
yeah.
15 minutes. So
Just imagining you putting just one sausage in there.
One sausage.
I'm not as creative. I just don't, because I don't like being in the kitchen like that anyway. But see, that doesn't help me because I buy all these gadgets, and therefore I'm like, hey, swipe, swipe, credit, and I'm like, oh my goodness, how is it these 3-digit numbers? Like, what happened? Who stole my identity?
Someone was spending money and gave me the gifts.
I'm like, oh, so I know that is something I need to work on is my spending. Get it low, like not so I don't pay so much out every month. So I'm able to pay for potentially if there's a HOA for me to be able to pay the HOA on top of my mortgage and the homeowner's insurance and all that.
Now, you may not have to have an HOA. You know, you could buy a house that's not in a homeowners association environment, so you could look for a home that way to cut your costs. Up to
Those
you,
are
whatever you
usually ones that aren't in a neighborhood, right?
Right. They're usually more rural, the communities that don't have a lot of amenities at all, as far as a pool or walking or tenants or such. So,
So I guess I do have a question, maybe for Rissy and for all of those who are trying to buy a home and kind of trying to go back in my memory, a few years back. But from what you've seen, Mark, what are some of the common misconceptions of first home buyers?
well, it really is the cost of home ownership. It really is that they have to get a real good understanding of the cost to own a home. And as I talked earlier about, we have a mortgage, but we also have insurance. You have
Mhm.
homeowners insurance. You have. You also have real estate taxes you have to pay. You may have HOA, and also you're going to have to maintain this home. As far as repairs are concerned, uh, paying your water bill, paying electric bills. You need to really get a good understanding of your costs that you will endeavor when you buy a home.
Mm.
And new home buyers sometimes don't know that, or don't ask those questions, or aren't given information, but they do know it at the end, and it may be a shock to them.
Mhm.
So you need to know up front, what are my expenses? Don't leave anything out. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And
Right.
and that usually is, once they find out their full idea and they can take care of that, they're good. They're good. There's definitely the vision of what the real cost is going to be to own a home on a monthly basis.
And what kind of goes into it too? Because I know, like for me, I didn't have to put any down payment down, but I still had to pay closing costs. And that was a
Yeah,
totally different thing. And I know you walked me through that, before getting there. And at first it was a little overwhelming, but you helped me understand why we have closing costs, and it's different than the down payment. So it doesn't go to your home, it goes to the lawyer, it goes to all the administration and all that stuff. Right.
correct, correct. Yeah,
So
they are fees for running the transaction, the appraisal,
Mhm.
the attorney, exactly it was. You had a new home, so you really didn't have an inspection done, but you had fees involved as far as that was concerned. So we
Right.
broke that down for you. But that was only the closing costs for the transaction. I'm also talking about going after the transaction, after it's closed the transaction, owning the home from then on.
Yeah.
You're
Like
gonna
you have
make
to mow your
sure
own.
you're able to, when you get that first monthly bill 4 to 6 weeks later after you close, you won't be too surprised. You'll know what that is.
Right. Now, one thing, Mark, maybe you can give some explanation on this. So, Mark was my realtor when I got my home, when I built my home, and I was able to reach out to him a year afterwards when my mortgage changed. And I was like, "What? What's going on? This is supposed to be fixed for 30 years. Why did my mortgage change?" So, Mark, if you don't mind kind of explaining the possibility of mortgage changing depending on taxes, the county and city taxes and so on and so forth.
Oh, sure. What happens is that your home is assessed. They call it an assessment by your town, how much the value of your house is. And your taxes are generated or calculated by the value of your home. It usually is a percentage per $100 of your mortgage amount. Like an example, for instance, right now the taxes, I believe in Cabarrus County, are like 0.8382. I believe they are right now. And so if you had like a $200,000 home, what you would do is you'd say $200,000 home for $100. That's take away the two zeros at the end. That makes it $2,000. So 2,000 times the 0.8.3, what might be about $16,776, something like that. 16,000. So that if you're only in the county of Mecklenburg, that would be your taxes. If your value is 200,000, they may come to you every 5 years. They look at your home again and say, it's worth more now. It's worth 240 now.
Mhm.
So at that point, they're going to readjust your taxes to be a higher amount. And so they take your taxes from your monthly payment, from your payment that encompasses your mortgage, your homeowner's insurance, and your taxes. And so that could change that payment because taxes can go up because they've assessed your home as being a higher value.
Right. And so I guess for all those who are listening, when you get your first assessment and you're like, "Oh, my value of the home went up. That's great." Well, there's a reading to that
Mhm.
to keep in mind. And, that was something that I didn't understand because, again, I thought it was fixed. So that was really helpful, Mark, to get that understanding and to really to keep in mind that taxes for your county or city can change, and that can change your mortgage depending on how much your lender or your mortgage company has in their escrow, if I have that correctly. And if they don't have enough money in that escrow, you could be paying more the next year in your mortgage, or you can pay it in a full sum. Now, sometimes you could be paying less and then they give you some money. But from my experiences, they only happen the first year and not the second year. So,
I said, nope. That's it. That's what you get. Oh,
right.
goodness.
We're finding ourselves in the Charlotte region. Homes are going up in value, so you'll find yourself that way. And the escrow really is that the mortgage company is holding that payment, that monthly payment of real estate tax until it's due. And it's due usually September 1st of every year. It's due. So it usually pay at that point is what they've collected enough to pay the bill or not, depending upon where you have your house assessed at that point.
Right. And I guess I'm wondering what other common misconceptions, again, if I talk, if I can talk, that you may have heard. But I do know one thing, the difference between renting And owning your own home is, yes, you do have to mow your own lawn.
Oh Lord Jesus.
So you could pay for someone for a service, but you do have to mow your own lawn. But you do have the freedom to do, depending on if you have an HOA or not, on what you can do with that lawn. But what other misconceptions have you experienced, Mark?
For new buyers are concerned, new
That's
buyer,
correct. Yeah.
okay with that? Yeah, I get it right. The maintenance of a home is definitely a surprising for somebody. She's going from a rental that they didn't have to do, they might have not had to do any maintenance to the property at all, to say, I have to now, you're saying, mow the lawn, I have to pull the weeds, I have to paint my house if it's getting worn, I may have to replace the door, time for a new carpet. So it's making sure that they understand that this is a home that they own and they have to take care of ongoing. Along with the monthly payment, they need to take care of it ongoing. So that does appreciate, it does add value later on. So that if they do sell the home later on, they can make money for it, for a bigger home or retirement for themselves.
So is that where that assessment, the positive in that assessment, if your home is appraised to be higher, that's where the positive is trying to sell?
Well, an assessment is their value, their estimation of what the value is. When you sell the home, it should be comparable, very close to. We call it a comparative market analysis. To really get the true value of your home, what a realtor does is that he takes the square footage of your property, a heated square footage of your property, and then the size of that, also the area you live in, and he looks back and he finds out what homes the same size, the same area, what they sell for in the past 6 months, and what are they selling for now. And there you get a good estimation of the value of your home at this time. And so, as an example, what I did in my assessment, I was assessed my house for 280, and it was kind of high. So I did my own comparative market analysis for my home and submitted to the town, and they lowered my assessment so that I had less taxes than I thought I was going to get, which
Gotcha.
helped also.
Oh, so you can, so in so many words, challenge
Yes.
the
Yep.
really?
Yeah, you could challenge it. You're saying, I don't think you're right, you're wrong, and this is why I think you're wrong. And I could give them evidence of that, and that makes sense, and they could do it, and they'll agree with you, and they agree with me. So my value, my assessed value, tax value, went down from 280 to 255. So that was nice, and
Oh
I
my
saved
goodness.
money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question. So, living in the Charlotte area, again, I'm around different people, and I did see here on the news how some areas where their taxes went up for their properties and everything. So, for you to have it basically your property reappraised, how much did that cost?
Well, if you have an agent that you know, it would cost nothing because he could do it for you for free of charge. I mean, he can do that for you and send you the breakdown of what that is and the homes that are backed up to do that. Or you can pay for an appraiser. An appraiser is somebody that goes, it's almost the same exact thing, but they have a little more detail they go through with it to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So either one. But I would, if you had a situation, I would first have your realtor create a comparative market analysis printout for you, which is pretty detailed, and that you can submit. If it's less than your assessed value, and submit that to the town to get a rendering.
Oh, so you hear that, current homeowners? Kaninja? We can get our check back. We can get our check back. We want our check back.
See, that's good. That's good to know. I will definitely fight that. So I guess we have one more question. If, like for Rissy, she's going to be a first time buyer in about 2 years or so. If she does not have any money saved, where would she go from there? Or where would a first time buyer go from there if they don't have any money saved to put down?
Well, that will be a challenge because they may need some money to put down. What you can do is that there may be programs out there. North Carolina could have them. I don't know if she's looking in the Concord area or Cabarrus or Charlotte area. First home time buyers, there are programs that they offer that can give her down payment assistance. And so that may help her out a lot. In fact, North Carolina has one right now offering first-time buyers $8,000 for a down payment assistance for you for that purpose.
Awesome.
So yeah, but only for first-time buyers they have that for. So your lender can guide you more with that, but there are programs out there that can cover you as far as down payment is concerned. Now, there's closing costs is concerned as a separate piece. And what you can also do is maybe ask the seller to pay for your closing costs. You can do that in the contract if you'd like to do that. Or, or there might be other programs for closing costs. But those are the options you have. There are programs that your lender knows that are offering throughout time to time, either through the town or the state. And it might be federal too, federal programs too. And sometimes they ask for you to be at that home a certain amount of time. They don't buy the house and sell it tomorrow. They want you there at least 5 years, 10 or 15 years. So that might be a stipulation.
Okay. So I did want to know, Mark, if you had to say the top reasons why someone should buy a home, what would be your top reasons that you would tell your client why they should buy a home?
Buy a home because it belongs to you and because it's a great investment for you and your family, because it usually does appreciate. And you can do what you want with your home as far as you can paint it a certain way, you can put your flooring down a certain way with your flooring, you can enjoy your backyard as you want. It's yours to enjoy. And the investment is there also. There's work to be done, but it's so nice not to depend on a landlord as far as this is what you want to do with your place where you live.
And I could totally attest to that. I don't have to ask for permission on painting my walls because I painted them this year and got some new flooring in, I think last year, and I didn't have to ask for permission. So I was able to do whatever I want to do inside my home.
You're a king of your domain. You're a king of your domain. You know what I'm saying? It's your place that you own, that you can raise your family in. You don't have to worry about anybody, next door neighbors, other renters around you. You have people around you probably in a community, but it's not the same.
Maybe
it's not the same. No,
not the same.
Right? Maybe you can stick the HOA on them.
I guess Kaninja's been that way, right? You already been there, done that. The next podcast. Stick the HOA. Okay, good.
So the last segment that we usually have is your final thoughts. And so usually we take about 30 seconds or so for each person to talk about what their final thoughts are about our topic today, which is home ownership. So usually we go around the table. Rissy, would you like to start us off?
Sure. I don't have my phone with me.
All right,
my little one jacked it from me, so she needed it more than I did apparently. So
all right,
you don't need this.
All right, I got it. Ready, set, go.
Yes. I enjoyed so much of our topic of home ownership. It was great information for not only for me, who is a potential home buyer, but also current home buyers as well. Again, the interest, we mentioned about the interest rates, and the great part, current homeowners can take advantage of that, as well as if your taxes are increased to a certain amount, you can attest it. You don't have to just deal with it. So I definitely think it was definitely great information for me and Kaninja people.
Kaninja people. All right, I'll go next, and we'll save the best for last. So I thought it was really great information, not just the surface information, but we did go a little bit deeper, which was awesome to really get into the nitty-gritty of what to expect when you're buying a home, but also what the benefits are in buying a home. Everyone talks about, oh, renting right now or buying a home. I had to say, I love my home. Mark was great with me with my realtor as my realtor. I think it's great just to look out there and get a home. So I thought this topic was great. And Mark, you ready?
Well, ladies, I want to thank you both for having me. It's been a pleasure talking to intelligent people. And hopefully, what I've done is giving you more insight on buying a home. And I know questions sometimes spur more questions, and I'm here for you. I don't know if I can give a push for myself. My phone number is 704-604-6690. If anybody has questions about today's call, and definitely give me a call if you need me again for anything we can follow up on.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And so those are our final thoughts. Thank you all for listening in. And if you are interested in buying or selling your home, be sure to reach out to Mark Zarcone from Keller Williams at zarconem@kw.com. That's Zarcone as it is ZARCONEM@kw.com, or call him at 704-604-6690. Bye, Break Room Buddies. See you next time.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you for spending your break with us. Time to get back to the grind. For some suggestions on what we talk about next time, send us an email at ourbreakroom@gmail.com. See you next time, Break Room Buddies.